Hey there, Darkstar here. Wanted to make a video on using BeyondATC. Uh, so let's jump in. I'm going to do hopefully a relatively short flight from Ted Stevens Anchorage over to Valdez Airport. It's about 110 nautical miles. I'm hoping we can get 33 out of here. But we actually want to spawn in, I think, cold and dark. But if we're going to take 33 out, where do we want to spawn? I think right here, right? And then we can just kind of loop around that way. Okay, and what's it thinking for here? I really want that to be 6. Let's see what it says. So this is part of all of the planning you would want to do. Okay, it says 6 is recommended, so we'll do that. Now this says it has an ILS, but I think it's only a localizer. I don't think it has an actual ILS. And if you look at the approach plates, yeah, it's just an LDA 6. So, but let's try and use that. So we're gonna start by putting together our flight plan. LDH Hotel is 109.5. And 057 degrees. And we want to come in out here pretty high, 7,800 feet at Olio. And if I recall, this leaves you quite high on this approach, and you have to kind of dive for it, but we'll figure that out. So we'll come back to this some more. Let's get our sim brief. So you need to find your aircraft. I'm going to do the longitude because it'll be the easiest and pretty quick. I always like to do summit. Oh, forget tab doesn't work. PANC. PAVD. Alternate none. Time. Pick your time. I think I've got all this set up already. If you want extra fuel, you might want to add a % here. Let's take an extra 15% fuel. We don't need any maps. We'll leave taxi time 4 minutes. We'll try and keep it short. IFR, we don't need ETOPS. Scheduled block time 1 hour. Okay. Departing 33, arriving 6, good. Altitude, I guess we'll let it plan. Let's see what it says. Passengers, let's do 4. And freight 0. Okay. Good on that. Okay. So I usually take a sheet of paper and I write down PANC on this side and PAVD on the other. I have 2 columns, and I put all my departure information on one and arrival on the other. So we're going to be hopefully 19,000 feet. We'll get clearance from BeyondATC for whatever we're actually cleared to, but we'll start with that. See, wind we don't really need. If you had an airliner, you'd use this as your average wind, I believe. So it says we want 2,531 pounds of fuel. So the baggage was 220, payload 920, I guess zero fuel weight is 24309. Passengers 4. Okay. This information has to do with your speeds. I think 426 knots at flight level 190. So it's information to ATC. Okay, and of course you can go into all your details in the operational flight plan as well. And if you were filing it on VATSIM, this is the flight plan you would file. All those details I don't think we're really going to need for this example. So I don't want to import route here because it's going to mess up this. So I'll leave this here for now, or you'll have to go back in and set all this back up. Oh, speedy. Okay, I do not have BeyondATC running yet, but so I'm going to start it up. It won't connect until I say fly, and I'm going to have it up here. Make this a little smaller though. Okay, so you want to go in your options and set things up your first time. I'm not going to go through all of that. Okay, I just did the expedited removal of pitot and engine covers, but you do need to do that. You're going to have to get your radios on. And I'm just going to set up the plane basically like I would for a mission. Okay, so now we say fly.
BeyondATC connected.
You do have to get your SimBrief ID in there and everything, and it's going to import that plan automatically. Okay, and when you get in, your radio may not be tuned yet, so if you want to go full manual, you can turn these off. I'm going to say auto-tune radio just for the purposes of demonstration here, but otherwise you would need to do all the radio tuning yourself, and you can get some current radio information by looking at this. So like, let's say we want to go clearance. Right, so 1194, right? So we could go 1194.
Okay.
And now that we've tuned our radio, I'll close this, and now it has the relevant information up here. So ideally you play without looking at this. But you can, when you're learning, you can always look at it. Oh, so let's have it up here, and you need to bind a button to talk to it, and then you press and hold that button while you talk, just like you would on a airplane radio. Okay, so let's give it a shot. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it right or not, but and one thing I wish it had is I wish you could kind of preview what you were supposed to say, right? Like this first one I'm always the most rusty on. I haven't done this in a while, so. And if you're not sure, you can just click that button right there and it'll read it out. So it'll do it for you, even if you don't have auto on. But I want to give it a shot here. I was trying to find my notes. Let's give it a shot. So one thing is, this is who you're talking to, and this is you. So we're just gonna ask for clearance to Valdez. Let's see. Anchorage clearance, Summit 191, request IFR clearance to Valdez as filed.
Summit 191, Anchorage clearance cleared to Valdez. Radar vector SPEPI then is filed. Maintain 4,000 feet. Expect flight level 190 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.6. Squawk 5264.
Okay. So now, it's going to read this out. And ideally, again, you'd be listening to it and writing it down as it goes. That's what you want to get in the hang of. And then, because it's BeyondATC, it has a summary up here. Again, I could click this.
Summit 191, Anchorage clearance cleared to Valdez. Radar vector SPEPI then is filed. Maintain 4,000 feet. Expect flight level 190 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.6. Squawk 5264.
Radar vectors PEPI then as filed, maintain 4,000. Expect flight level 190, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.6. Squawk 5264, Summit 191.
Summit 191, read back correct. Contact ground 121.9 when ready for start or taxi.
Ground on 121.9 when ready for start. I should have said my call sign there at the end. I think you should always end with your call sign. Okay, so now because I have auto tune radio on, it has already set us to 121.9, right? If I didn't have this checked, I'd have to set it myself, which is good to do, but you know, various levels of automation here. You can even have auto respond on, and it'll just take care of all the radio comms as well, which is great for kind of background when you're doing a video or whatever, but not good for it's maybe good for your first dry run and then go through and do it yourself. Like right now, I could close BeyondATC and start over and come in and do it again. So especially this beginning part is really easy to practice. Okay, so let's say Anchorage ground, Summit 191 is ready for push and start.
Summit 191, Anchorage ground, pushback and engine start approved, face west.
Pushback and engine start approved, faced west, Summit 191. Okay, so I'm pretty sure we don't need a push. Yeah, we're just gonna go out. Here. Yep, we're gonna just zip right over there. We don't even need to turn around. Almost just go straight ahead, a little bit to the left. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this set up. So let's go passengers 4 and cargo 220 Actually, I think that was supposed to be 920. Let's do that. Okay, and then take off, sync fuel. Landing's good, accept that. Procedure. We have a departure procedure. I don't think we actually had a departure procedure. It said something about Peppy, but yeah, clear to Valdez radar vectors Peppy, so I think this is just I guess we can't pick none. Okay. We'll just figure that out then. And our approach, we'll do the localizer hotel. Peppy. Nope. Transition Peppy. Well, we're here now, actually, so let's do that. Okay, now let's do procedure. Localizer hotel, Peppy. We can set the frequencies from here. Load it. This is our departure weather. 10,000 foot runway. Takeoff config looks good. Let's just double check this. 33. Okay. And then I like to go ahead and just get my flaps out here. So there's your V1, rotate, V2, speeds, accept initialization. Okay, so we're going to take off, fly down to Peppy, up to Olio, and then on in. Okay, we did get the APU started. So, and we are approved for engine start, so let's go ahead and do that. That's going to come up. We'll go full screen on that. Dotless up to 19. Heading, we want to go about 33. I want to get standby on here. Okay, engine starts good. We'll get left engine start. Engines are long line. We'll get external power off and disconnected, even though we didn't really connect it, whatever. Parking brake can come off. Alright, so now we need to request taxi. Right, so Anchorage ground, Summit 191. Request clearance to taxi, departing runway 33.
Summit 191. You need to make a taxi request and check the frequency.
I thought I did. So I'm just going to click this to see what they say.
Summit 191, ready to taxi to the active.
Okay.
Summit 191, runway tree taxi via Lima.
Okay. Taxi to runway 33 via Lima, Summit 191. Okay.
Alaska, 8 Tree Gate, November 1 taxi via Delta, Kilo Echo. Gate November 1 via Delta, Kilo Echo, Alaska, 8 Tree. Summit 191, contact Anchorage Tower 118.3.
Contact Anchorage Tower on 111.3, Summit 191.
Negative, tower on 118.3.
So you gotta pay attention. Contact Tower on 118.3, Summit 191. Okay, auto-tuning the radio. Let's see. Let me just make sure I'm where I think I am. Okay, we need to go a little bit further up. Anchorage Tower, Summit 191, ready to depart.
Summit 191 Anchorage Tower, wind 325 at 6 fly heading 330 runway 33 cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 33, fly runway heading, Summit 191. And if we just want to see that is good, okay. This is a very long runway and a fast jet, so we don't really need much. Looks like I'm not going to taxi back to the very beginning or anything. Okay, so fly heading, flight, let's see, auto throttle armed, flight level change.
All aircraft be advised information Delta now current, altimeter 2950.
It's complaining about my stabilizer trim. There we go. There's V1. Positive rate, gear up. Flaps up. Okay, I'm gonna go autopilot on now, just to make my life easier.
Summit 191, reset transponder, squawk 5264.
Oops, forgot that. 5264, enter. It probably wants me to say something. Affirm, Summit 191. I should have said the squawk code, I
Summit
think.
191, negative, squawk 5264.
Yeah, I should have said it. Squawk 5264, Summit 191.
Summit 191, contact Anchorage departure.
Going to Anchorage departure, Summit 191, bye-bye. Should change automatically. Let's put this down here and pin it for a bit. Okay, and then Anchorage departure, Summit 191, 8,500 feet, climbing flight level 190.
Summit 191, Anchorage departure, radar contact. Summit 191, turn right heading 110. Expect further clearance in about 20 miles.
Turn right heading 110, Summit 191.
Summit 191, descend and maintain 10,000 feet, altimeter 2950.
What? Okay, we climbed way too high. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, altimeter 2950, Summit 191. And we need to turn
Summit
heading.
191, contact Anchorage Center 133.7.
There's our heading. Contact Anchorage Center 133.7, Summit 191. Changing frequency. Anchorage Center, Summit 191 at 2,000 feet, descending 10,000 feet.
Summit 191, Anchorage Center, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Climb and maintain flight level 190, Summit 191. And we didn't do my lights properly. I should have had my landing lights on. They could come off now. That's really good to have a second display that you can put this up on. So I'm going to put that over there for a minute. I think we're done here. We can put the controls back. Now, as you can see, following ATC, we are way off of our flight plan. So we'll see what happens here.
Summit 191, turn right heading 180.
Turn right, heading 180, Summit 191. There we go. Okay, we can go standard barometric pressure now. Now, if you're flying manually,
Anchorage Center, Alaska 49er descending via Whitty 5, flight level 246.
Alaska 49er, Anchorage Center, radar contact.
So I do have it doing traffic ejection also, so there'll be some traffic, like those other flights they were talking to. Keeps it a little more interesting. For that, you want to probably get something like the FSLTL models, and you install the models. You do not need to install their traffic injector, and then you tell BeyondATC that you have the FSLTL models installed and to use those. Now it's interesting they have me on a 90-degree intercept here. My guess is they're going to say go direct to Pepe pretty soon.
Summit 191, turn left heading 100 vectors for Valdez.
Turn left heading 100, Summit 191. Now notice that they have not actually cleared me to go direct to Pepe or anything. I'm just in heading mode following the vectors they give me. So we'll see. Not too far off there. So we'll go back to what that looks like here. And again, kind of the summary of the directions show up here. You get the text, kind of history scroll there.
Summit 191, clear direct Pepe, resume on navigation.
Clear direct Pepe, resume on navigation, Summit 191. They did a really good job vectoring us, actually. Okay, now according to this, we are 22 minutes from top of descent. I'm going to try to speed this up. You will get handed off from center to center, just like you do in the built-in ATC.
Anchorage Center, Alaska 7015. Good day, descending via code 05, 12,000.
Alaska 7015, Anchorage Center, copy. Alaska 7015, contact Anchorage, approach 118.6, take care.
Contact Anchorage, approach, Alaska 7015.
So you'll notice some options that show up here that do not show up on the regular ATC. One is we can call ready for descent.
Summit 191, Anchorage Center, expect radar vectors, RNAV Mike runway 06.
Okay. Expect radar vectors, RNAV Mike runway 6, Summit 191.
Alaska 49er, contact Anchorage, approach 118.6.
Contact Anchorage, approach, Alaska 49er.
That's funny.
Summit 191, Valdez Airport landing runway 6.
Valdez Airport landing runway 6, altimeter 2969, Summit 191. They didn't give me the altimeter, but it put it up. Somewhere.
Summit 191, descend and maintain flight level 180.
Ooh, big step down. Descend and maintain flight level 180, Summit 191.
Summit 191, contact Anchorage Center 119.3.
Anchorage Center on 119.3, Summit 191. Anchorage Center, Summit 191 at flight level 180.
Summit 191, Anchorage Center. Summit 191, altimeter 2969er, expect radar vectors for RNAV Mike runway 06.
Expect radar vectors for RNAV Mike runway 6, Summit 191. Now, should I stay in heading mode
Summit
or should I
191,
turn?
descend maintain 16,000, altimeter 2969er.
Descend and maintain 16,000, Summit 191.
Summit 191, descend and maintain 7,200 feet.
Descend and maintain 7,200 feet, Summit 191.
Summit 191, 40 miles from fjord, turn left, heading 045, maintain 5,000 until established, cleared RNAV Mike runway 06.
Turn left, heading 045, maintain 5,000 until established, cleared RNAV Mike runway 6, Summit 191. Now, I meant for that turn to start while I was trying to talk, but I don't know what happened. Multitasking. Squish it down a little here. It'll be like our little tablet on our flight controls. Now really it wants me on this RNAV Mike runway 6 thing. So I guess we should probably load that up. We'll load with vectors. It's fine. We're in heading mode, so I guess we go to fjord. Until established. I don't know what that means in this context. Until established on the approach, maybe? Let's see if we can speed it up a little. This one's me somewhere. Let's just say, Anchorage Center, Summit 191, established on the RNAV Mike 06 approach.
Summit 191, roger.
Our other approach would have come down over these mountains. Okay, so now it says maintain until approach. We're established, so let's go ahead and say we can lower our altitude to 2,800. And we can arm VNAV. Okay, 2,800 feet. VNAV is armed. Top of descent is 53 seconds away. We'll speed that up. Why is top of descent getting further away? Oh, because we're descending. I forgot about that. We should go altitude hold mode for a minute. One nice thing about the Longitude, I don't know if you caught it, but it automatically slowed us down as we approached 10,000 feet. So we didn't get a speeding ticket for that. The other nice thing is in FMS manage mode, as soon as I start getting flaps out, it'll automatically reduce that speed. We have a little ways to go here, so I'm going to keep my speed up for a minute. There is a 200 knot brake here. So it should automatically drop down to that. Probably as soon as we get to Fjord would be my guess. Maybe even a little before that. Here's our V path coming in. Okay, we're catching that V path. We hear the engines going down, so I'm going to go ahead and deploy flaps 1. Which would also take us to 200 knots, by the way. Even if the speed limit weren't in. Okay, let's speed it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go flaps 2. Beautiful up here. Don't think we need the blue gates anymore. I'll turn those off. Don't need any anti-ice. We will go ahead and get our lights on. I never turned my APU off. I should have. What I'm going to do for a minute here is just open this gravity flow thing and let the balance a bit. So you can see going flaps 2 slowed us down to 160. And now what I tend to do is with the Honeycomb Alpha, I have a dial that I can change my desired airspeed. So let's go ahead and go gear down. We're gonna wait for our 3 greens. And we're gonna go flaps full. And we're gonna go home. And we're gonna go to perf, landing, get the current weather.
Runway, Summit 191. No tower services available at Valdez Airport. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, Summit 191. Guess I should have picked an airport with a tower. Okay, let's go approach mode. Here we go, we got our glide path. We should be able now to go to localizer. I think. Oh, that has no glide slope. Okay. Let's go back to that. I'll mess that up. Okay. Go manual. Dial this back to 130-ish. There's our runway. Little town. So in the Longitude, the spoilers deploy automatically. I'm going to close the gravity feed because it doesn't like to be on the ground. See if we can catch that glide path. I'm guessing this comes in at an angle so you don't fly right over the town. These poor guys, though. I messed it up again. I thought we would have caught the glide path by then, but no. Okay, lights are on, seatbelt lights, yada yada yada. Taxi lights automatically came on. Here we go. And we will go autopilot off. Auto throttle off. Too much flare. Reversers. And then you would come off and taxi to whatever. I'm sorry I don't have a rival ATC. They're not as persnickety as the other systems are. Cleanups. So flaps up, landing lights off, APU on if it wasn't already. And we've arrived at the beautiful Valdez Airport in Alaska. With the big sign right there, it says Valdez. Parking, taxi light off, engines off. And the mission isn't going to end, so we can actually go get the door open this time. That's the APU still going. If we wanted to, I think we could balance out the fuel here. So we can pump some fuel to the right. Maybe. Doesn't seem to be transferring any. Nope. Maybe it doesn't work on the ground. Definitely seen it work in the air. Okay, well anyway, that's BeyondATC. So we just got that last handoff and then that was it. Alright, catch you later, bye bye.